Stop the presses. The government is actually going to be doing something about the affordability crisis across the United States. The Biden administration just came out with their plan to tackle the affordability crisis. They have a lot of words. Let's just see if they're flapping their lips or this is going to actually do something for people right now. Who knew the government would actually do something for the people? Isn't that kind of their job? If you remember not too long ago, they came out with a plan to tackle the affordability crisis. And honestly, it was just laughable because they said they were going to build 100,000 affordable homes across the United States over 10 years. Let's see if this is something that's pretty much the same kind of plan or if it's going to be something that can actually really help us, like help us today. Now, all of this is coming straight from the White House. This is coming right out of the horse's mouth. The plan will help renters who are struggling with high rental costs, with particular focus on building and preserving rentals for low and moderate income families. The plan policies to boost the supply are an important element of bringing home ownership within reach for Americans who today cannot find an affordable home because there are too few homes for sale in their communities. And it will help reduce price pressures in the economy as housing costs make up 1/3, ooh, there's a typo here, of the housing basket for inflation Their proofreader needs to be fired. Now, I'm not going to be reading to you the whole entire plan, but I am going to be highlighting the things that I think are a good thing when it comes to affordable housing. And I will also put a link in the description of exactly what it says word for word, but I promise you it's like reading stereo instructions. So that's why I'm not going to read it to you. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I featured one of my rental properties that has a house, and behind that house has another small house behind it. Some people call these ADUs, accessory dwelling units. In the new plan that's being provided by the Biden administration, they do address ADUs. So my favorite person, Ryan at How Do ADU, wanted to give his perspective of what this means if you're thinking about putting an ADU in your backyard.
Hey, Kristina and anybody who's watching, one of the best things about this whole plan is the government acknowledging that it can do something to help. And often that thing is getting out of the way and letting people develop residential housing in the right neighborhoods. This is a really great job of putting housing in the center of the conversation as an all-of-government effort. There's some parts that are a little disappointing. Like, I mean, I love that the White House is talking about accessory dwelling units. That's what I'm obsessed about, building houses in your backyard. But like, the action about ADUs is like, we should continue thinking about it. And hallelujah, I'm glad they're talking about ADUs because that's huge for the country. I wish it were a little more concrete. That said, there are some more concrete, tangible actions in other parts of the plan, and those are really exciting to me.
So that's Ryan's perspective when it comes to the ADU side. And I want to give you my perspective when it comes to the manufactured home side. So what are they saying about manufactured homes? Number one, they're saying they're going to make it a little bit easier for people that are trying to get a manufactured home that isn't attached to land. This is one of those things that has always come up over the years, and I've complained about it many, many times, which is a product called a chattel loan. And that's just a loan that's considered almost like personal property. Because of these type of chattel loans, the buyer of them actually ends up paying a lot more in interest, and the loan terms are very short, sometimes only 15, 17, or even 20 years. They can go as high as 21-ish years. I don't know how they come up with that number, but the terms of those loans are very short and the interest rates on them are extremely high. Apparently, the Biden administration is willing to work with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to come up with a better package. This would be a really good thing for low-income families that do tend to have predatory lending practices used against them in these higher interest rate loans. So if this is something that actually does come to fruition, I think this is a good thing because it's one of those things that I consistently have argued and complained about over and over and over again. Now let's talk about corporate investors. As you know, across the United States, corporate investing has increased exponentially to the point where even the Biden administration has highlighted there's been a 25% increase of corporate investors buying up single-family homes. And they are aware that is the most affordable single-family homes in some of the hottest housing markets. In turn, has caused some rent prices in some areas to go up as much as 35%. So how is the Biden administration planning on addressing this problem? Now, as you know, there are people that get federal loans like FHA, RD, those type of packages, and eventually sometimes people cannot pay for them. So they end up going to the foreclosure process. These homes, they are held by the government and they end up on a program called HUD Home Store. So what they're saying in this plan, instead of bundling all these homes in one big package and sending them over to corporations and having them take care of it, they're more willing to take some of these homes up to 50% and putting them back on the market for us as consumers to purchase, single family people that are planning on moving into the house. I'm thinking they're going to be doing this the same way they've done it with HUDhomestore.org, which is whenever a house comes on the market that it was a federally backed loan that had defaulted, eventually ends up on this website here. And then once those homes hit the market, they give it a 14-day period where an individual buyer that plans on living in that house as their personal residence has 14 days to make an offer on that house before they'll even look at a corporate investor. Now they're willing to extend that, according to the new plan by Biden, by 30 days, which is a really good thing for people that are looking for a deal. And the fact that they're willing to increase that supply to at least 50% is also very good for people that are looking for an affordable housing option. Now, these homes are generally our fixer-uppers, but it will help a lot of people that are looking for that affordable house. So this is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Let's jump back and start talking about manufactured homes again, because they addressed it several times in this new plan. And another thing they mentioned, other than the loans for manufactured homes, is the fact that there isn't a lot of places that allow for manufactured homes in certain areas. So how is the plan going to address this? Well, the Biden administration says they're going to be giving big incentive to rezone some of these areas to allow for manufactured homes. The biggest problem I think with this particular idea is, even though the money would be coming from the federal government and communities would benefit from it, there's still going to have a lot of people that are saying, not in my backyard. People do not want to have manufactured homes near their communities because they think it brings in a certain element of people. You're still going to have to appease the people that live in an area. Whether the federal government is wanting to throw money at it or not doesn't mean that a community has to accept it. So this will be one of those things where we have to wait and see if this is a good thing or not. Now, if you live in a rural area, you might like this. One of the biggest complaints that I've had in the last few years is the reason why most people don't move out into more country and rural areas is they don't have the right kind of infrastructure. So in this plan, they plan on giving more money with the Single Family Housing Guarantee Loan Program, which will give money to developers for construction costs and infrastructure to help build up some more rural areas so they don't have a high density in big cities, which is honestly a good thing. And it looks like they're also going to be giving the USDA a opportunity to work out some good loans for home builders for these particular plans. And we'll see what happens with that. I think it's a good idea on paper. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. I happen to live in a rural area and our infrastructure is pretty bad. So our roads need a lot of attention. So if this would help our area and other rural areas, I think it'd be a good thing. They didn't address anything about high-speed internet. And everybody knows in the world that we live in today, if you're going to be working remotely, you're going to need high-speed internet. And to me, that's part of infrastructure. It isn't just water and electricity. You're going to have high-speed internet. Now, if you happen to be watching this and you are a developer and you're thinking about rehabilitation of homes or rehabilitation of apartment complexes, but you've had this hard time finding the right kinds of loans, it looks like this plan is going to address that as well. They're looking into coming up with new loan programs, so there is a lot of that red tape and bureaucracy cut out of it, and they're going to have better loan terms for you if you're considering doing this for low income or moderate income families. Again, a new plus, but let's see if it actually comes into fruition. All these things always seem to be like a really good plan on paper, but I'm always very skeptical until I actually see them going into action. If you're a developer, have you read this? What do you think? Now, if you are a renter and you've had a hard time finding rental properties, this is one part of the plan that I am planning to read to you word for word. I know it's boring, but it does make a lot more sense than me trying to explain it. HUD will update guidance to strengthen home investment partnership program. Through the reauthorization home update guidance and the robust technical assistance, HUD will advance and streamline this critical resource for creation of affordable rental housing and promotion of home ownership. HOME provides grants to states and localities that communities use to fund wide range of activities, including building, buying, rehabilitating affordable housing for rent and home ownership, or providing direct rental assistance for low-income families. So it looks like they're going to be opening up some more rental assistance for people that are having a hard time being able to pay the rent, especially in areas that have increased 35% because of corporate-owned properties. So this looks good. I hope that they'll be able to get those grant monies out to people. If it's run by the state, who knows if it's actually going to get into people's hands. Just like the rental assistance program that happened during the pandemic. It took a long time for the people that were renting to be able to pay their landlords with the money that was allocated from the federal government, because the state was supposed to be distributing it, and it took forever, especially here in the state of Louisiana. So the biggest problem that's caused all of this affordability crisis was actually the last housing crash that we had in 2007. Since then, home builders have not been building as many homes. There have been actually record lows of as many new constructed homes throughout the United States. This became a huge catalyst to why the home prices have skyrocketed as high as they could. And even now, even though home builders really would like to build as many homes as possible, there's been a couple factors that haven't allowed for it. One of them being is the supply chain. According to this plan, they are going to address the supply chain and come up with a lot of different ways to address it and get more materials in builders' hands to build as many houses as possible. I'm a little curious on what this could possibly do if it does happen to home prices. Does this mean that homes in like the mid-grade section will drop down in price because there's so many affordable housing options on the market? I don't know. Time will tell. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below, because I would be really interested to hear what you have to say about that. But this is one of those things I've been talking about, referring back to after World War II. They had created as many single-family homes for them to be able to use the GI Bill and get into a small home. The other thing that they did during that time was use modular manufactured construction. In the Biden plan, they are going to be highlighting and trying to boost builders to use these types of building materials once again, building indoors instead of outdoors, which would be your modular and manufactured construction. Prefab homes have been around forever, and it's just something that they're going to be pushing more for builders to start using so we can get these houses built even faster. But I do want to read you the part where they do talk about the panelized construction. Innovations in home building, including manufactured, modular, and panelized pre-cut and additive construction, hold promise for increasing housing productivity, thus the supply, just like they did after World War II. HUD will highlight these and other technologies that will benefit affordable housing construction during the Innovation of Housing Showcase at the National Mall in June 2022. The main reason I think it's a really good thing is they can get done faster. The other good thing about it is the fact that they are really energy efficient. And I know that's a focus on what they really want to happen is more energy efficient homes, and modular homes and panelized construction homes are built with great energy efficiency, much better than my traditional built house. Hate to tell you. So that's all well and dandy when it comes to manufactured homes and modular homes. How are they going to get people to actually want to come to work, since there isn't as many skilled laborers as there were in years past? Well, according to them, they are going to be starting some new training availability for people that are wanting to be trained in these professions, and they've offered to throw a lot of money at it. You know, a lot of people that don't know what they want to do after high school or college, that they could probably get a really good career in construction and work at some of these plants that are building homes like modular homes, or those SIPs homes, those panelized construction homes, or even 3D printing homes. And it's a really exciting industry right now. So, I mean, I think this is a good thing. Now, I've talked about a lot of the things that were in this plan, but there's a lot more things that I didn't cover. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description below to the actual plan itself. But now I want to know your opinion. Some of these policies I think is a lot of lip smacking, a lot of looking into, and we're going to circle back, which I don't really like. But at least they're addressing the issue, which had needed to be addressed for nearly 10 years now. To watch more videos about the affordability crisis here in the United States and how I actually addressed a lot of the things that were talked about in this plan, go ahead and watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.